As it was promised, so it was done. I did actually complete all of my daily action items for yesterday. Aw, yes. Hello again, team. It's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for my week 42 plan with me. This is also day 10 of my month of planning with me series, so if you haven't been following along with that, there's also a link in the top corner for you to check it out if you wanted to. As can be expected, today with the regular planning I've been doing as part of that series, I'll also be setting up for week 42, which is the 14th through to the 20th of October. For this week and the last week I've been doing a one-page weekly, just because I'm on holidays, I don't really need that much space. But next week is the start of term 4, so I'll be going back to a usual double page. Despite the fact that I accidentally put this little highlight for Tuesday one line too high, I have been enjoying this layout. As I said, I don't really have a lot to write down, and it's given me plenty of space to write down what I need to do. Before we go and check off stuff on here and fill out my trackers and all that, we are going to set up for next week though. As per usual, any of the equipment I use in this setup is linked in the description box below. For next week's layout, I've decided to go with another Dutch door. I've been really eager to do more of these in my journal lately, and I felt that the first week back for term 4 was a perfect excuse. I already know that with the seniors having only a few more weeks with us, and reports coming up, there's going to be plenty to get done, and I like the added room that you can get with the Dutch door. I also wanted to continue with the washi tape that I used for this week and last, so I put that at the top and bottom of each page in the layout. In addition to the usual box that I give myself for each day, and the spaces for to-dos and notes, for the week coming I've also given myself room for my 3x3 reflections. So 3 positives, 3 negatives, and 3 next day intentions for each day. Although I've already set something up for this digitally, I know that when I started doing this style of reflection last year, as part of my 1 month in my bullet journal series actually, I did that in my bullet journal and I found it really successful. I've been thinking about some of the ways that I want to approach or track this style of reflection, because I think it would be kind of nice to have some way to visually see the types of things that I typically feel I do well or not so well, just so that I could more easily identify patterns. But at this stage, I think just having it in my journal for next week is going to be a step in the right direction. In terms of the questions that we had on last week's plan with me, our first one comes from Kim. In her question, she asked, do you have a car? If yes, do you keep maintenance and fuel consumption in your bujo? And if yes, how? So whether or not I have a car really depends on when you ask Vogel. If there's a bill coming up and he wants to split it, then yes, I do have a car. At any other time though, it is his car. I personally don't keep any records for it in my bujo because at the end of the day, he's the one who takes care of all of it. So I don't think I can be a lot of help on that one. I will put that down as an idea for a video I could make at one stage though. And congratulations, Kim, on recently getting your car. Our second question comes from Winifred Artemis, who asked, what kind of challenges would you never do? And I know that on that one I said I'd have a think and put it in the next day's video, and then I totally forgot. Sorry. In terms of the challenges that I set myself, the money ones and the health related ones, I want them to be challenging, but I also want them to be achievable. So things that I wouldn't set myself would probably be things like, I don't know, getting like 15,000 steps in a day, because I know that that's just not going to happen. I think I've surpassed 15,000 steps like twice in the history of having my Fitbit. And I've had it since like 2016, so yeah, nah. Other health challenges I probably wouldn't partake in would be things that were too restrictive or too kind of difficult to practically employ. So in terms of difficulty, I think things like not eating carb-heavy foods, because those are like my favourite foods, and it would just feel way too restrictive. And then the steps is a pretty good example of things that wouldn't be practical. There we go, so we have a box for each day of the week, and then sections for my 3x3 reflection, so 3 positives from each day, 3 negatives or things that didn't go so well, and then 3 intentions for the next day. I also gave myself a space for notes and to-dos, just in case there's anything that spills over. As usual, I'm just going to go in now and write down any of the events that I know I have coming up next week. Now as next week's all set up, I'm going to flip back and fill out what I did yesterday and what I intend on doing today. So for yesterday, review term 3 brain dump, I did make a start on that, but it's not quite finished. Marking the reactivity test did happen. The brainstorm for the term 4 to-dos partially happened. I still feel like I need to do a bit more work on that. And I did photograph my pages. I also want to put down that I did a couple of other things as well. So I started organising my photographs on my computer, and I also had a discussion with my friend about the platters for her wedding. In terms of things that I want to get done today, I only have one more assessment to mark. It just so happens that it's for 2 classes, but it's the same assessment. So that is going to be my main to-do for today. That and the open tasks that I already have are pretty much all I want to get done for today. Though I should probably also make sure that I schedule next week's lessons. Typically when I write down my to-dos on my weeklies, I don't actually just write down the things for the day that I'm on. I also write down tasks for days that are coming up. So I'm going to write down that on Sunday I will be doing my laundry. Flipping back to my monthly pages though. So Boudreaux Wednesday yesterday did happen. There's nothing else to add on this though. In terms of my holidays to-dos, I did mark the reactivity test. And then today I'll be marking the waves tests. Nothing else to check off on my bucket list just yet. And onto habits tracker. So yesterday I did finish work by 5. Did do the Instagram comments. Was productive. Did also have leisure time. Filled out my bullet journal. Took my evening pill. But I wasn't in bed by 10 and I did eat fast food. And for today I have taken my morning pill. For yesterday's step count, I did actually forget to check, but it was more than 7,000. So that little orange dot thing there is going to get covered up. For social media, so yesterday I photographed the social media page from September. I also photographed the meal log. And I ended up posting my steps tracker. For YouTube, as usual, this one's getting filmed and that one was already done. Onto my challenges. As I mentioned, not going to be filling out my monthly challenge for money because waiting till our next round of budgeting. But for my active minutes, they did happen yesterday. For yesterday's word of the day, I am going to write sandwich because I made a great sandwich for lunch. I was actually just so chuffed with how it turned out. It was absolutely delicious. And I might as well colour in the next row as well. I like to colour these in ahead of time just because I don't like having to wait for the pen to dry when I actually want to write in my word of the day. On to my meal log. And now over to my PowerSheets. As it was promised, so it was done. I did actually complete all of my daily action items for yesterday. Aw, yes. I'm kinda interested now to see how many days in a row I can get all 5 of these things done. I'm not sure if I've already talked about it, but for the mindful eating in particular, this one is mainly about making sure that I am eating slowly enough so that I can notice when I'm full. I have a tendency, especially with foods that I really enjoy, to kind of just scoff them down, which means that I end up eating way more than I actually need, and I end up feeling really uncomfortable afterwards. So it was pleasing that, although yesterday I didn't maybe have the best food choices, I still made sure to take my time eating them so I knew when it was time to stop. For my weekly action items, I don't actually have anything to add, but for my monthly action items, I actually want to add in another action item, and that is sorting out my photographs. This was something that I think that I put on one of my action plans when I first started the PowerSheets. But yesterday I seemed to have a real motivation to do it, so I figured I might as well check the progress of that on here. And as that one's linked to my digital environment, or environment in general, I'm going to be using blue with that one. And of course, because I did some work on that yesterday, some progress has been made. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!